the best decks, yeah, what are those? Let's first talk about Zapdos. Smacking weak basics, it's quite dope. Switching around with things like Escape Rope. Consistency with Zoroark, it's still around. Then going hard with Lucario, it'll leave a mark. On lightning decks, enough with sparks. Although Pikachu is quite strong, you gotta be careful in the long run. One full blitz and it could be all done. We're able to win against anyone. And don't forget about Blacephalon, it's been hiding in the shadows all along. And Malamar too, it was never gone. With Ultra Necrozma, you can't go wrong. Yeah! Those are some of the top decks in town. Let's discover some more in this video. Episode 213. Yeah! What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to another episode on my channel. In this episode we're gonna talk about the top 10 best decks in the standard format right now. So if you're looking to play a good deck at a League Cup, or if you're just training to go to the internationals in Berlin, it doesn't matter, you're gonna have a full insight on what is good right now. This is based on tournament results, so I do have a couple of honorable mentions, so I'm just gonna get that out of the way. We have Boswell, Garbodor, Weavile Shrine. That's still a deck that is performing quite well, but is not having the tournament results that we want. So this is actually kind of like my tier 3 list. So in this video you're gonna get tier 2 decks and mainly tier 1 decks. So this is tier 3 here, and this is the honorable mentions. We have Rayquaza Vikavolt. It used to be such a wonderful deck. Nowadays, if you want to play the Lycanroc Lab variant, this is also still doing quite well, but not topping at any major events as of late. Boswell Lucario did top at the top 8 in Collinsville, but that's the only recollection of that particular deck, so that's why I didn't put it into this kind of format, because still a lot of people are playing Ultra Necrozma Malamar, and that eats that deck up alive. We have Granbull. Granbull is just so powerful, but yeah, as mentioned, there's a little muck in the format right now, so that's why Granbull is not seeing the amount of play that we wanted to have. And there's also Alolan Exeggutor, also a very solid deck. If you're still playing that, try and revamp it. Maybe Mr. Mime could be a kind of a cool inclusion that the opponent cannot Ace Rolla all your damage away, but 160 HP on a stage 1 is very good. Try out Alolan Exeggutor. There's Quagsire, Naganadel. All of these decks, I already talked about them on the channel. Definitely check on my other videos if you're interested in that. There's also Gardevoir Swampert, and that is still doing well, but as of course Zapdos is way too fast and eats up the little rolls and mudcaps and all that good stuff. So that is actually tier 3, and without further ado, let's get this video started. If you're interested to see more lists and more in-detail reviews about these separate decks, be sure to subscribe. I'm definitely going to talk about all the top decks as soon as tournament results fly in. And yeah, if you already enjoyed the content, be sure to smash the like button. That always helps out the channel tremendously. Okay, now we're gonna go. This is going to be top 10 list. And no particular order. Let's go start this video off with tier 2. Tier 2 decks are popping up at day 2s here and there at major events, but are not finishing the top cut here. So that's why they're only tier 2. There's not a lot of people playing them. And to first start this video off, we have Charizard. Who could have guessed that Charizard actually is a viable deck nowadays? The one from Team Up. It is of course the one with a Roaring Resolve. Once during our turn, we can just put 2 damage counters on Charizard and search a deck for 2 fire energies and attach them to this Pokemon. So this is very awesome, very fast, if I say so myself. Tested it out already. Jirachi is almost in every competitive top deck right now with Stellar Wish. If you are not having a Jirachi of your own, try to manage and get them, because if you want to top cut at major events, let's say the internationals, you definitely want to have a couple of Jirachi because it's just so good. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck and put a trainer card you find there into your hand. Jirachi falls asleep, that's why there's also a skateboard in here to just get rid of that, and also 3 switches nonetheless. There's also Alolan Ninetales, which searches out the items that you want. If you want to make a Charizard version, you can also cut the GXs in this version and add more shrines if you don't have Alolan Ninetales, for instance. But Charizard is just so fast, it goes out, once it's out with Rare Candy, bam, you can just use that Roaring Resolve and start hitting for 130 damage as a bare minimum. This is endless amount of damage if you use the ability twice, and if you manage to just survive 1 turn, you can even one-shot things like the tag teams and all that good stuff. There is a Shrine and Choice Band in here, so that's good. And there's also Flareon. Flareon GX is not just optional, but this is just the list that got day 2 at the Cannes special event. So this, as mentioned, this video is based on tournament results. So yeah, I'm just taking deck lists that already proven itself worthy. So yeah, Flareon for the Power Burner GX. This deck deals 20 damage for each fire energy in your discard pile. Out of nowhere, this could be a late game sweeper if you already just got through all of your energies. There's 9 of them in here. Let's say all of them are in the discard pile. Well, yeah, you can do the math here. That's 180 damage. And with a choice band, 210. Things like Zoroark will go down, Ultra Necrozma, etc. You do need, of course, your energy recyclers because, of course, Charizard burns through a lot of energy, so you have to discard the energies in order to dish out damage, and that's why energy recycler is kind of a must in this version of the deck. Absol is here to just counter. Oh, we got opponents that just want to fight. This time around, I cannot fight you guys because I am, of course, recording a video. Absol is here to just make sure that the opponent's Jirachi cannot escape even with escape board. So Charizard performing well. If you want to like a tier 2 deck that you just want to have a little bit of fun with, Charizard is the deck for you. Talking about Charizard, there's also Venusaur. Venusaur, actually, this is tag team. Celebi and Venusaur tag team GX actually is performing reasonably well. There's, of course, the weakness to fire, which means Charizard and Blacephalon will eat this guy up, and we're going to talk about Blacephalon later down in the video. But Celebi Venusaur is all about tanking. You can, of course, have this 270 HP monster, but with things like the Eater's Paradise, they dish out 30 less damage. With buff padding, you get 50 extra HP, so that will be 320 HP, and that's also gonna be crazy. If they cannot one-shot, we have things, of course, that can heal. This is going to be the Shaman Floral Heal. If you get a couple of these out, you heal 20 damage for each Shaman in play, and then you heal 20 damage from the active Grass type. In combination with that, things like Life Force, Prism Star, this Venusaur will never go down, and with Evergreen GX you can heal up completely, and even if you have more energies attached, you can put all the cards from your discard pile back into the deck. So sorry Chloe, I'm not available at this time. I'm just recording a video. So there's, of course, the Venusaur hitting damage with Solar Beam and stuff, so a huge tank, does have a good matchup against a lot of things in the format, but still doesn't cut at most events. So this is only a tier 2 deck, but it's very fun to play with. There's Judge Wishel to draw cards, Judge to disrupt the opponent while you are just tanking with a Venusaur. I already playtested with this deck a lot, so kind of a funny deck here because it's just one tank, and if the opponent cannot one-shot, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Next deck on the list is going to be Lost March. Lost March is one of those decks that came and go. It was very good at one point, and then with Emolga here, this is the new Emolga with, of course, the Nuzzly Gathering. Once during your turn, you can search your deck for a Pokemon with the Nuzzle attack and then reveal them, put it in hand. The good news is that Emolga has free retreat, so you can circle between Emolgas. One Emolga on the field, one Emolga on the hand, which means you can make a full use of Lost Blender, which makes sure that even the Lost March attack can one-shot things like tag teams for sure. And this girl doesn't give up. I am very busy at the recording this video. So we have Jump Lift, Lost March dishing out a bazillion amount of damage because of the Lost Blender here. You can put Pokemon in the discard in the Lost Zone, and thanks to Nuzzly Gather, you can just get Emolgas. There's also Trumbeak, which throws himself in the Lost Zone, and with Mountain Pass, you have a little bit of disruptive effect. If you find at the opponent's top deck a supporter, you can put it in the Lost Zone, so they are set behind, so that's awesome. Of course, Natu can also dish out the Lost March attack and hitting weakness against Pokemon like Lucario GX, for instance, if they try to get that out, or Boswell. And it's just a fun deck all around. It's not doing that well, if we have to be honest here, that of course, Zapdos is around, and Zapdos one-shots Jump Lifts with no problems so that's why this deck is not as good as we might think it is, but it does have a reasonable matchup against Zoroark variants. At least it has that going for it, and it also has the disruptive Marshadow in the deck, thanks to things like Pokemon Communication. You always have that Marshadow at the right time and just set the opponent back so much. So Lost March also part of the tier 2 gang here. We're going to talk about tier 1 in a minute. We're still at tier 2. At tier 2, we're also having stall decks. I am not a big fan of stall decks. I just despise them. I actually played against one and the Cannes special event and day 2 here. It's going to be Regigigas stalled. Regigigas has a huge amount of HP for a basic Pokemon, and that means that you just have to get a lot of damage on the board, and they abuse things like Max Potion and Acer Wall to just set you back behind, and you just have energy disruption going on as well with things like, of course, the Plumeria. Where is it? Yeah, Plumeria here, discarding cards from the hand, and then you can discard an energy anywhere, so that's awesome. Lusamine to loop that. It might be banned on the TCG Online program, but believe me, in Standard it is not banned. It is banned and expanded, so you can loop things like Plumeria, things like Acerola, and if the opponent has a hard time hitting 180, well, with the Ancient Crystal here, this is a tool card for Regigigas. That means they, you get 30 less damage. That means they will have to hit 210. And if they one-shot it, they get 1 prize card. So you just set the opponent back. We have all sorts of things to just get out of the deck. We have Hoopa, which cannot get attacked by GXs. We have the Chuckle, which means the opponent will need 3 energies in order to just hit Chuckle. We have Jirachi to put stuff in the Lost Zone from the discard pile. Great against Malamar. Try and put all those energies in the Lost Zone so they cannot do anything about it. Counter Catcher to leave the opponent stuck in the active position. If they're out of Guzmas, they will be stuck in the active, and you can just munch away with Mountain Munch of Durant, discarding 2 cards of the opponent's deck. And yeah, this is the mill deck. You try to just deck the opponent out with huge tanks like Regigigas, Hoopa, and all that good stuff. Also, Lugia GX with the Lost Purge GX is in here with counter gain and a double Chorus energy, which you can get easily thanks to, of course, Steven's Resolve. The deck is built around Steven's Resolve. You can search your deck for 3 cards and put them in the hand while you just get your combo, your DCE, your counter gain, and of course your Lugia, and out of nowhere you can put something, yeah, the opponent's active Pokemon in the Lost Zone. Let's say, oh god, they come with a Gardevoir with like 10 energies. Well, you can just put that in the Lost Zone. Oh no, they're coming with something like yeah, what are we gonna talk about here? Maybe a Giratina that they keep coming back from the discard pile and stuff. Well, you can just put that and 3 energies at once in the Lost Zone. That is a huge deal if you just want to face off against things like, of course, the Malamar variant. So that is that. Stall decks, not fun to play against. Definitely against energies, denials, shenanigans. If you're playing Zapdos, you'll have 1 energy attachment, and if they cannot, yeah, if they can get something like a Chuckle in play, you're gonna have a hard time. Not only that, there's a Wondrous Labyrinth in this list as well, which makes you need an extra energy as well to just get your attack going. So very nasty. I don't like stall decks. I could include Sylveon, Mill as well in this list, and the good thing about this list is also based on a winning list. I think this is a second place winning list of the special event in Cannes. What do we see here? A bunch of stadiums. We have Mount Lanakila with more retreat cost. We have Mount Cornet, which can get your energies, and with Lusamine, you can never get out of energy. So that means you can have energies enough to just keep repeating that attack of Jirachi, or maybe just to get energies enough for Lugia. It all depends on what you're doing. There's also Shrine in play. If you win the Shrine War, you can even get KOs if Shrine is in play long enough. And also this kind of disruptive shenanigans with Faba, putting stuff in the Lost Zone, Plumeria, discarding energy. So not a fun deck at all, but it's still tier 2. Sometimes stall decks still manage to go to day 2 and do very well. Okay, that was a mouthful. So we had our tier 2 here. We had the Regigigas stall, we have Lost March, we have Charizard, Celebi and Venusaur, and then the last deck in tier 2 I'm gonna talk about is Passimian Tapu Koko. We've seen Passimian before. Passimian is a deck with Tapu Koko and spread. Usually it would run things like double Chorus energy and counter energy and just spread a bunch of stuff. This time around it's an aggressive variant, so Passimian is in here to just get rid of things like Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX, and of course Zoroarks. The weakness to fighting is huge in the meta right now, so Passimian, that's why it's doing well. And then there's of course the Tapu Koko with Electro Power and all that good stuff. You might have an edge against Zapdos, and not only that, there's also 1 Zapdos in here because it runs lightning energies. Only 4, so that might not seem like a lot, but if you can get them in the discard pile, you can make use of Tapu Koko Prism Star. That means you have, yeah, technically more DCEs because you can just have extra energies on your board. That means Passimian can attack for 2 lightning energies, which is the case. And sometimes Tapu Koko GX can fly in the active, as we've seen it before in, of course, the Zapdos Jirachi variant, which we're gonna talk about soon. Absol for, of course, shutting down, yeah, opposing Jirachis, and Jirachi is, of course, a main part of the deck. So heavy build on the Shrine. So 3 shrines and of course yeah, a couple of choice band will make sure you have an edge against GX versions. And if you can get a couple of your Passimian out, you're gonna have an awesome time because Passimian will dish out a ton of damage. Definitely have a great edge against Zoroark thanks to this Passimian from Ultra Prism with Power Huddle. If the opponent is actually an evolved Pokemon, you dish out 30 more damage with your active, yeah, your active Passimian. That is awesome, definitely. And there's Zebstrika with Sprint in here to just get yourself a little bit of an edge. The one from Lost Thunder, discard your hand and draw 4 cards, easily accessing that double Chorus energy when the time is right. So that is also tier 2. Now that we got tier 2 out of the way, let's go into tier 1. And this is where the best decks in the format are right now. Here we have the Blacephalon, Naganadel. Zach made sure that it's still on the map. Tier 1 here. Why is Blacephalon still so good? If you have not paid attention this season, yeah, Blacephalon is just fast. You use Burst GX, you get a prize card, and after that you just rely on the Naganadel, charging up energies from the discard pile, and then you can just get endless amount of damage with Mind Blown. After that, if you get a couple of KOs with Mind Blown, one of your Blacephalon sees the discard pile and your opponent is at 4 or 3 prize cards, we can just spam Beast Ring all around and get energies, our board flooded with energies, and then we one-shot anything in the format. Why is it still good? Well, with Alolan Muk, we can shut down Jirachi, and if we shut down Jirachi, we're gonna have an awesome time against them. And not only that, we have 3 stadiums to bump up those shrines. We have Ultra Space, searching out an Ultra Beast. We have Heat Factory, Consistency Booster, discarding a Fire, getting 3 cards in the hand. And then there's a Fire in the discard, you can get it back with charging up of Naganadel. Little Prism Star, so that's why we're also gonna be including that in here to just evolve into Muk. But we also have, of course, Alolan Grimer. Easy searchable is the Psychic one with Mysterious Treasure. So with all that good stuff, you have an easy time. It's a straightforward deck list. You just hit hard with Blacephalon, and Naganadel can also backfight a bunch. Don't forget, if you're at 3 prize cards, you dish out 160 with that Naganadel. Very, very nasty indeed. And with the Beast Energy, that's 190. So very, very scary. Nowadays, they included Erica's Hospitality, so no more Sophocles or Sightseer or anything for that matter. Erica is the way to go with Lily, and you draw cards, and out of nowhere with Mysterious Treasure and Ultra Ball, you would get everything you want. There's also 2 Marshadow in here. If you're having a difficult matchup, just Marshadow first turn. Yeah, maybe you can win. So that is the first deck in the Tier 1 category. Up next, we're gonna just check around here. We're gonna talk about Ultra Necrozma Malamar. This seems to be popping up all over the world. Very, very straightforward. It is running Ultra Necrozma. We've seen it before. Forbidden Light set, Photon Geyser, endless amount of damage depending on how many Psychic Energies you have attached. You discard them, and then you deal 80 damage for every Psychic Energy you discarded. The good thing about that, Ultra Necrozma is why is it better than the regular Necrozma? Well, glad you asked. Sky Scorching Light GX and Viridian Forest is where it is at. Viridian Forest is a fantastic card. There's 4 copies in this list based on the list of Stéphane, Ivanoff's, the list that he used at Cannes. I talk a lot about Cannes because I went there. So we have Viridian Forest, searching out an energy if you discard something from the hand. This is an easy way to get your Psychic Energies in the discard pile, but also a way to get your Metal Energies out when you need them. You need Metal Energy and Psychic Energies for your Ultra Necrozma. You just set your board up. There's a lot of search engine here. 4 Nazball, 4 Mysterious Treasure, and 3 Ultra Ball will make sure you get that first turn. Bam! Get a bunch of Inkays on board. Even maybe a couple of Jirachi, so that's why there's also Nazball in here. Jirachi, Consistency Booster with a skateboard. There's even 3 switches in the deck. That means you're never stuck in the active once again with your Ultra Necrozma. No need to rely on Dawn Wings Necrozma. You just use regular switch, maybe promote something like Tapu Koko so you can have free retreat and whatever you want. And if you're on the bench, Psychic Recharge is where it's at. Once during your turn, you may attach a Psychic Energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon. You charge up your Necrozma and bang, you swing it hard. You don't always have to go for the GX route because sometimes you just want to rely on Giratina. The Storage Indoor not only puts 1 damage counter on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, but it also, this Giratina can smack 130 damage, which is plenty enough to 2-shot almost anything in the format. And it always comes back from the discard. If they knock it out, it's back. So that's why it's so good. 2 copies of Giratina, you don't need more because they keep coming back with the Storage Indoor unless a little Muk shows up. Be careful of that. There's also Rescue Treasure, 1 copy of that. And this list still runs Tapu Lele because sometimes you need, I have a treasure, Tapu Lele Guzma game. That's how it happens. So very, very consistent list, and there's not a lot you need. You have the Energy Search with Viridian Forest, you have a lot of bubble engines to get your setup, and then of course your supporters like Lily, powerful Lilies in combination with of course Cynthia and Erica to just make sure you draw those your resources, and Jirachi can search that out. Why is Tapu Koko in here? Well, glad you asked. Sometimes you flying flip once, and out of nowhere, it's Light Scorching GX here. If the amount of prize cards between both players is 6 or lower, you can use that GX move, and out of nowhere, you dish out 60 actually put 6 damage counters on every one of your opponent's Pokemon. With flying flips, you can get multiple KOs at one point. And last but not least, Marshadow GX is in here. You can copy attacks from basic Pokemon in the discard pile, so you can put 3 Psychic Energies in the discard. If Giratina is still in the discard, you can use that Shadow Impact, bam, and you have that fighting type, which means Pikachu Zekrom going down, Zoroark going down, you have a good time. So a very, very consistent list, if I say so myself. If you're just want to score some points, this is the list for you. If you want to top, it never seems to win a tournament, but it's always right there at day 2. Okay, next up we will be talking about, we already talked about Blacephalon, Ultra Necrozma. I think it's time to talk about Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX. This is, yeah, the list based on Gustavo Wada. He's going all over the world, doing very well, one of the best skilled players I've ever came across. This is going to be a mixed version between Pikachu Zekrom and yeah, Zapdos variant. So they splashed it together, and that's what this deck is all about. We have Pikachu and Zekrom, full blitz 150, that's awesome. And then you can just search your deck for 3 lightning energies and attach them to one of your Pokemon. And let's say you have your Pikachu and Zekrom with 6 energies, while Tag Bolt deals 200 damage. That GX move is crazy, and also 170 to one of the opponent's bench Pokemon. You can try and set it up with energy switches, with Koko Prism Star and all that good stuff, and out of nowhere this guy can just attack. There's also Thunder Mount Prism Star, which means you need 1 lightning energy less, so 5 lightning energies will be sufficient to just get that attack off, or just try and use that Tag Bolt. It's just so simple. There's also, of course, early game pressure with Zapdos. There's a couple of Jirachi in here as well, so Zapdos Jirachi is in here. Main strategy early game, and late game you come with Pikachu Zekrom taking your prize cards. Jolteon is also in here, a 1/1 line. You just get the Electro Bullet. Not only that, great against, of course, opposing Zapdos cards, because Ace Roll is also in here. That means that they slap damage, use Ace Roll, and you just smack Eevee down once again. Use a shuffle card like Marshadow or whatever, and you can evolve straight from the bat. So Marshadow is also part of the yeah, Pokemon party here. There's also Zeraora, making sure everything with lightning energy has free retreat. That's also the reason why this list is just, yeah, it all wins against Stall. So if you're playing Stall, be afraid of yeah, the Zeraora. It's like the Stall counter. It makes sure everyone has free retreat, and Full Voltage GX can get 5 energies back from the discard pile. Very, very crazy indeed. Okay, Tapu Koko GX, as always, flying into the active position when the time is right. And other than that, we've seen everything we've seen before. We have Electro Power dishing out more damage, Skateboard for your Jirachis. There's a couple of Voltner in here. Not a Voltner based version. This is still Lily and Cynthia taking the lead here as the main supporter for Guzma, because Zapdos, of course, wants to target that. And yeah, sometimes you just want to put something on the bench so you can use Tag Bolt GX for your prize cards. Very awesome list, if I say so myself. It's a blend. You can go non-GX, you can just go full GX. It all depends on your playstyle. I already did a TCG match, a couple of matches with this particular deck list, and I'm very, very fond of the list. Okay, that was that. Now, talking about some more lightning decks, I actually have 2 Zapdos variants still waiting in line. So there's going to actually be 11 decks, but I'm just going to put them together here. Zapdos Jirachi and Zapdos Jolteon. First, we're going to talk about Zapdos Jirachi. This is the version I inspired myself. This is going to be the one of Robin Schulz. Yeah, with of course the rainbow energies in here, and I'll got a full list of shrines. 3 copies of shrine will make sure you have an awesome time against shrine against GX decks. There's a baby boss. If the opponent has 4 prize cards, bang, Sledgehammer, 120. 120 super effective damage. Pikarom goes down, and Zoroark goes down. So awesome, that's why it's in here. There's also Nigaligo. If yeah, the opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining, you can copy one of the opponent's Pokemon's attacks. That means, oh, they have a Lycanroc out. I can use Dangerous Rogue GX game. It can happen. So Nigaligo, also awesome. That's why there's rainbow energies in here. So you can fuel them with, of course, yeah. You can fuel your Nigaligo or Boswell. Sometimes even Absol. Absol is in here, of course, to block Jirachi. And then we just have 3 Zapdos flying into the active with a Thunderous Assault. 4 copies of Jirachi, the main star of the deck. But there's also Zip Strike in here, because with Sprint, you draw into your rainbow energies more quickly, or Beast energy for that matter. That's why it's in here. 1 copy of Voltner. This is not a Voltner based list. This is going to be the one with, yeah, with Jolteon. You're going to see a full Voltner based list. But that's about it. You just use your Zapdos early game. If the opponent has 4 prize cards, Baby Bus swings in. If the opponent has 2 prize cards, we have Nigaligo. Sometimes, if they have too much energies in play, you can rely on Tapu Koko GX. And in addition, with the Prism Star, you definitely get the required energies into play to just then fly into the active position. A very, very popular list, and has been performing very well. Then there's also Zapdos Jolteon. Pedro, the one from Spain, that is doing very well. I think he got 4th at the World Championship last year. That means he is doing very well, and this is the list he came up with. 2 copies of Jolteon, the main star of this deck. Of course, 3 Zapdos and 4 Jirachi. So Zapdos Jirachi with, of course, Jolteon thrown in there. No beast, Ultra Beast Pokemon like Naganadel or Buzzwole, but Jolteon. Why is Jolteon so great? Well, glad you asked. We have Electro Bullet, 30 on the active, 30 on the bench. With a simple Electro Power, you one-shot Zapdos. That's why it's so good. And even dish out 30 to the bench to just weaken some Pokemon there. We have Head Ball, 110 for 2 energies, or for 1 energy and a Thunder Mountain Prism Star. 110 is awesome. You can boost that power up with Choice Band, with Electro Powers. It's gonna be awesome. And then Swift Turn GX, if you use that, it prevents all effects of attacks, including damage done to Jolteon GX during your opponent's next turn. This is awesome if you have Jolteon in the active position, but they can Guzma around it, or they can use Escape Rope, so there's that. But being invincible, keeping your energies into play will make sure you can just rely on Tapu Koko GX afterwards if you just want to do that. And there's a lot of things you can do. Of course, if you use the GX move of Jolteon, you can no longer use the GX move of Tapu Koko, but Sky High Claws 130 can also pack quite the punch. Why 4 Voltner? Voltner is essentially a Jolteon. With Voltner, you can get out Nesball and an energy. And if you get an EV and attach an energy, you have a Jolteon. So Voltner is Jolteon, so that's why 4 copies of that is definitely in here. 1 copy of Max Potion will help a lot. Don't underestimate the power of that 1 copy of Max Potion. Now, there's also the Zoroark GX in here, because if you can get enough energies into play, Plasma Fist will actually get yourself 1-hit KOs if you save up your Electro Powers. And then there's 1 copy of Viridian Forest in here to just have that consistency boost. You can bump up other stadium cards like Wondrous Labyrinth, for instance, where you can also get yourself the energy early game, so you never miss or whiff a KO early on. So that's why it's also a top tier deck. Jolteon, Zapdos, very similar like the Zapdos Jirachi, but Jolteon, a fantastic card. And then the number 1 spot is going to be Zoroark again. I know Zoroark, it's as mentioned, the tier 1 decks, you can just decide for yourself where you put them, but Zoroark is always performing well. And why is that? This is the one with Lucario, Zoroark, Lycanroc, Lucario. Lucario sees a lot of play. I actually played it myself in a Zapdos variant, so that's why how good Lucario is. Lucario can just one-shot Pikarom and Zoroark. That's why it's just so good. And Pikarom is seeing an increase in play, so that's just logical that we see Lucario popping up. Heavy Alolan Muck line, we do see a Ditto, we do see Alolan Grimer, and we do see Alolan Muck. So you definitely want to get yourself a second turn Alolan Muck. As soon as you see, oh, I'm facing a Zapdos Jirachi variant, you just put Alolan Muck in, and their Jirachis become useless. If they become useless, they break, and that's how you're gonna win. For 4 line of Zoroark, you got pretty familiar with this card already. Every internationals, every regionals, there's Zoroark everywhere. Right, just beating 120 if your bench is full, and also you can trade, and that's the most important ability here. Discarding a card from the hand in order to draw 2 cards. Very, very powerful. You can draw into anything, because with communication nowadays, you have full control. Let's say you use for early on Nesball and Lily Engine, get yourself some Pokemon. Oh, I'm stuck with like a random Lycanroc. Well, no problem. Pokemon Communication can put it back in the deck, get something you want, maybe an Alolan Grimer, and bam, out of nowhere you can just get the Pokemon at the correct time. That's why it's so good. Not only that, Lycanroc still has that powerful GX move, Dangerous Rogue GX, dishing out 50 damage for every Pokemon on the opponent's bench. So if they bench a lot of Pokemon, for instance, Ultra Necrozma Malamar, they are definitely gonna get punished here by Dangerous Rogue GX. Okay, Tapu Lele, there's 2 copies of that in here. There's no need to worry, we have Ace Rolla, so sometimes you can just pick up your Tapu Lele if it gets damaged by Shrine or whatever, so that's good. Wondrous Labyrinth is kind of genius. Sometimes you just say, oh, I'm blocking myself here, I know that. But sometimes, yeah, it's just the way to go here. You can just save yourself a turn against Zapdos early game, smack down your Wondrous Labyrinth, and just be safe. There's also 2 Viridian Forest to bump up your own Wondrous Labyrinth. It's just here to save yourself a turn early game. If you manage to get it first turn, one of your Pokemon will be safe, just mark my words. Not only that, if you have a first turn Fighting Energy onto a Zorua, you can still attach a DCE and still get that Righteous Beating off. That's how good it is. Same goes for the GX move. There's Palpat to recover your Guzma or Acerola, or even Judge. There's a Judge in here, so a couple of one-off supporters, even Cynthia. Palpat is awesome. Usually I would use Palpat for Guzma or Acerola mainly, but it can happen for anything. Mallow can get you the specific combo. Let's say, oh, I need Lycanroc GX and an energy. Well, with Mallow, you can just put it on top, and with Zoroark, you can trade and get those cards immediately. There's even Field Blower, so Shrine won't annoy you too much, and that's this list. Only one Rescue Stretcher, but there's a lot of Pokemon, a lot of attackers. We have a 2-2 like Lucario line. We have a 2-2 Lycanroc line and a 4-4 Zoroark line. That should be plenty enough to last you through the game. So that was it, the top 10 list. We got everything here. My personal favorite is Zapdos, of course. There's a lot of Zapdos variants out there. We have, if I had to rank them officially, I would say Zapdos variants on the number 1 spot. Then we have Zoroark Lycanroc on the number 2 spot. Pikachu on the number 3 spot. We have the Ultra Necrozma Malamar on the number 4 spot. Blacephalon on the number 5 spot. On the number 6 spot, I would put the Stall variants, unfortunately. On the number 7 spot, I would put the Passimian Koko. On the number 8, I would put Charizard. On the number 9, Lost March. And on the number 10, we have Celebi Venusaur. That's my official ranking, for those of you that are wondering. But it's just my personal opinion. If you want to just get your own top 10 list of the best decks in the standard format, be sure to put it in the comment section below. I'll definitely take a look at it. Also, let me know what your favorite deck at the moment right now is, and which you cannot wait to just play test around with. I'm very curious on what you're playing right now. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, I put a lot of work into this video. Be sure to demolish the like button as always. Subscribe for more Pokemon TCG episodes on a weekly basis, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully a tournament report here and there. I already got my Worlds invite, so yeah, the next thing is just preparing for the internationals in Berlin, because yeah, if I just stop there, I maybe can get myself a travel award for the North American Internationals. So yeah, anyhow, this was Zapdos TCG. Have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
If you wanna go and test a deck that isn't played a lot in this format, then listen to what I'll say. If you wanna go and try it out with me, let me know how it does in a tournament. I think it could be really great. Chilling on Sundays while new ideas pop in my brain. Where